The following video may contain harsh language and spoilers for the movie in question. I mean, probably, I don't know. Really just depends on what you consider to be what. Today on Movie Mech Review, we enter the home stretch of this ludicrous journey with Godzilla the Millennium series. Here's what happened. Picking up the franchise barely 4 years after the finale in vs. Destoroyah, but not a continuation of that story, starting with Godzilla Millennium in 1999 and closing with Godzilla Final Wars in 2004, making just 6 films total. Godzilla Millennium. Goji Boy has been jackassing around for a while now. Reporter Ichinose runs with father-daughter team Shinoda and Io as they track Godzilla. Crisis management led by Katagiri and Mayasaka just found a rock. Hooray! But it's on the ocean floor, and when they try to pick it up, it flies off and picks a fight with Godzilla, revealing a shiny UFO. Pretty. Then the UFO takes over our computers and siphons some life juice from Godzilla, turning into the monstrosity Orga. Godzilla vs. Megaguirus. Godzilla hates power sources like nuclear reactors and some magic plasma bullshit. Now a special unit called G-Grasper, led by Tujimori, has recruited Kudo to work on a satellite weapon called Dimension Tide that will fire a black hole at Godzilla? I have so many questions. But a test fire of the weapon transforms a simple dragonfly into its prehistoric counterpart, Megaguirus. When the two monsters meet up, guess what happens? Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, giant monsters, all-out attack. Reporter Yuri is doing reporter shit when monsters show up to do monster shit. Baragon crawls out of the ground, Mothra is in a lake, and Ghidorah is having napsies on ice. They are here to protect us from Godzilla, who is now the accumulative spirits of those what died in the Pacific conflicts of worldwide Mortal Kombat 2.0, and they're kinda pissed that people forgot about it. Yuri's father, Admiral Taizo, has a plan to fire missiles with drills on them up Godzilla's ass. Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. So we decide to use the bones of Godzilla the original to make a horrific abomination called Kiryu. It's Mechagodzilla, with a super weapon called the Absolute Zero Gun that freezes anything and everything. We bring in Dr. Yuhara, his daughter Sarah is there because you gotta have the adorable sidekick. Pilot Akane is chosen and the fight begins. But Kiryu goes primal and rampages across the city. Yuhara says, nah, it'll be fine, and Akane just heads out for round 2. Godzilla Tokyo SOS. So Kiryu is still kind of broken, and tiny ladies, the Shobijin, visit old man Kujo to tell him that Mothra wants the Godzilla bones tossed back into the ocean or she will wreck our shit. But when Godzilla attacks, technician Yoshi gets Kiryu up and at him. Mothra fights but gets dropped, Kiryu is a wreck, 2 baby Mothra join the battle and wrap Godzilla up, Yoshi gets Kiryu working again, and Kiryu flies Godzilla out to sea. Godzilla Final Wars. Battleship Gotengo buries Godzilla in the Antarctic, humans form the Earth Defense Force, giggity, and stock it with mutant super soldiers like Ozaki and Kazama led by Captain Gordon. All monsters attack, and then UFOs beam them all up. Aliens known as Zillions offer peace, but of course they lied. They send all the monsters out, and Gordon uses Gotengo to release Godzilla so he can destroy all monsters. So Alien Man unleashes a modified Gigan, Mothra shows up as backup for Goji, the aliens unleash the ultimate force of destruction, Monster X. Ghidorah. It's Ghidorah. Named the Millennium Era for the turn of the millennium. No kidding. But the films were still all released in the Heisei political era. This new series brings the monsters back down in size to relatively what they were in Showa, but retains the action-heavy everyone gets a laser beam explosions all day of the previous series. The use of computer technology allowed for better use of live footage mixed with shots of the suit actor stomping around, making the destruction scenes far more energetic. This is something they did before, but not nearly as often, and it did not look nearly as good. Now, technology advances at a geometric rate, so the stuff they do today, 17 or 18 years after the Millennium series, will look better than the Millennium series, but in the day, this was top-notch work. The destruction at the human level is amped up as well. When buildings collapse or tanks explode, it looks so much more legit. The rooms actually jump, like the set moves, probably on gimbals, as the beast marches by. This adds a level of fear for the civilian that wasn't really present before. In previous series, you could say, yeah, probably somebody in that building or in that train, or there's definitely somebody driving that tank or flying that jet. But as for their fate, you didn't really see it. In this, we see rubble crush people. We see soldiers engulfed in flame. There's an infamous scene from Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All-Out Attack, where a girl recovering from one monster attack sees Godzilla approach and panics because she can't exactly get out of the bed. It's kinda hard to watch if you're in the right mood. The monsters get frightening too. It starts rather tame, but by the aforementioned Godzilla, Mothra, Ghidorah, that's a big fucking title, Godzilla is in full fuck around and find out mode. He is vicious and unrelenting. He is a true killer. He is angry. He literally nukes a shopping center. It is shocking to say the least. Even Ghidorah, all-time crown king of the baddies, is the fucking hero in that movie. The use of advanced special effects also enhanced the different laser blasting magic spirit bombs that we see throughout the films. Test fire of Dimension Tide is just really fucking cool to watch. Call me a nerd, but that shit is hot. It enhances the underwater shots too. Before it was always just a set with maybe a blue filter or a blue backdrop and they might have muffled the sound for effect. Now it did really seem like they were fathoms below the surface. There's a lot less use of miniatures too. More wide shots have just actual tanks or ships or jets. Locations, especially outdoor stuffs, is just actually outdoors, whereas before it was just some soundstage, primarily in Showa. Again, there are things that get nods from this series or that are nodded to in this series. Ghidorah being found trapped in ice was how he was found in Godzilla King of the Monsters in 2019. I have to draw that distinction because Goji fans know Godzilla King of the Monsters as the American title of the original Gojira. And a lot of the modern American film was nodding to the Japanese films, and that same film, Godzilla Mothra, directly references the 1998 Roland Emmerich film that makes it a part of this franchise. No, I'm not covering it, at least not here anyway, maybe later. But we see that exact creature show up in the series when we get to Final Wars, and Godzilla definitively whoops that ass. Honestly, it's not even fair. The redesign of Godzilla is not exactly harsh. He gets sharper points on his dorsal plates, very early 2000s, but outside of the size change, most returning monsters look the same. This redesign of Goji, however, is not continuous, just as these films are not. The look of Godzilla in Final Wars is more in line with his Showa look. For reasons, I'll get to it. His look in the longest movie title, Jesus Shit That's Big, Giggity, is unique as well. With his pot belly and soulless eyes, his jaw protrudes more, and his walk has a distinct waddle. It would be funny if he wasn't so goddamned terrifying in that one. The score is updated as well. The theme for big title name Godzilla Mothra King Ghidorah is by far my favorite. It is, as the youngest today would say, a banger that slaps you with fire or some shit. I don't fucking know, I'm fucking old. And while GMK, as it is known, may actually be the best of this series and my personal second favorite behind Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2, the one that stands out against all Godzilla films from literally any series or country, even the American ones, that honor falls to Final Wars. From the mind that directed Aragami vs. Love Death, he wrote Samurai Zombie, and he directed Lupin III, this movie is wildly kinetic, hyper even. It has floaty flip kick martial arts and spinning gun kata like the bastard child of a John Woo in Chinese fantasy film. I don't mind it in general, but in a Godzilla film? Even the monsters are flipping and springing off mountains and sprinting full speed across the stage. Godzilla fights every single one of his Showa fellows, friend or foe, and that is why his look mattered so much. Told you I'd get to it, and I do mean everyone. We hadn't seen King Caesar in nigh on 30 years, but here he is. Hedorah only came around once, same with Ibira, but look who it is. I did like it, but it at no point felt like a Godzilla movie. More like The Matrix and everything John Woo, with Godzilla doing weird spinning fight ballet in the background. It's honestly something you have to see to believe. They call the mutant squad Earth Defense Force, and they even have weapons very similar to the game. It's a video game, and a damn good one, check it out. And since I made mention of it before, I'll bring it up again. Those what speak English in this film, Jesus, Don Fry plays Captain Gordon in Final Wars, and he is just awkward to listen to. Between trying to remember his lines and trying to remember to actually act, it's just fucking weird. There aren't a whole lot of others. Some Submariners that are fine, I guess, but it's mostly just yelling anyway. Being that these films reboot the entire mythology with every installment, they seem to cherry-pick which movies from the entire Toho collection count. In Final Wars, they show clips from literally all of them. But they do bring actors from the days of yore back to us. Cujo in Tokyo SOS is the same guy from the original Mothra film from so long ago. They show clips from War of the Gargantuas in Against Mechagodzilla, but it feels like they wanted this to be the end. The end of it all. It wouldn't have been a bad way to go. This really shouldn't be your first foray into the world of kaiju, and Final Wars is definitely an acquired taste, but for my money, they are worth buying. Let me know what you thought of the Millennium Era Godzilla films, and thanks for watching.